You know what I call on camera? This sex tape that we're filming today for this podcast. Hello everyone and welcome back to Dorm Room Stories, where we tell stories in the dorm room. We also have food today, so you're gonna see us eating. We got homemade mac and cheese and pizza sliders made from King's Hawaiian rolls, that's the word.
We started this by saying we have a sex tape.
Coming soon to our OnlyFans. Coming soon to our OnlyFans. No, this is a joke. We don't have a sex tape. We will not film a sex tape.
We will never have a sex tape. Well,
I
don't know about you.
Sex tape. I cannot confirm nor deny that a sex tape will ever exist of me in the world. Hey yo!
Pizza sliders.
I saw that.
I've been sitting in the background this whole time. I'm just chilling. I can confirm that at one point there will be a sex tape of me, whether you choose to watch it or not. That is your own volition.
I put a lot of sauce. I have
watch it.
very saucy pizza rolls.
Apologies if a lot of this is us talking about how good the food is, but that's not today's episode, which we should have done food. But, you know, today's episode, we're talking about pet peeves. No, we're not. My bad. We're talking about childhood experiences.
We can talk about pet peeves and childhood, if we want.
We can talk about both, if we want to, because I don't know how long... I hope we're subtitling that. We're subtitling that. I want you to know that. Anyway, yeah. We're going to talk about childhood experiences, and then if we don't have enough to talk about there, we'll also talk about pet peeves.
These nudes are huge.
We'll see how this goes. But I want to start off with asking how everyone's doing.
I am doing better, but still kind of upset because I just lost my entire project of a short film that I was working on because Adobe sucks.
Yeah. How you been?
I'm chilling.
They missed you last week.
Yeah.
You were
in Ohio.
in Ohio.
Yeah.
He was dead.
On vacation, went to see one of my really great buddies with my roommate Hunter. We're going next weekend too. I'm chilling. How about you? You good?
I'm living life. Things are on the up and up in my life, so I can't complain about too much. Hang out with some good people, doing some fun things, so gotta love that.
I'm actually very happy with how the thumbnail turned out for the last podcast.
Yeah, go check out the last podcast episode if you haven't seen it. The thumbnail turned out really cool. We did movies, so that was a fun topic.
Was it?
Yeah, it was actually a lot of fun. We should do it again at some point, because I'm sure you've seen different movies that we haven't seen that we can also touch on.
I mean, yeah.
We will probably wind up doing another topic, the same topic again at some point, but trying to touch on different items, because that's what happens. But
because all topics have different angles you can go from.
yeah.
Like, that's the thing with film, too. Like, you can have a great topic, but you have to get the right angle.
Yeah. But most of this episode is going to be us munching on food and talking about our childhood. Do you guys have any cringe stories from when you were young? Because I have a pretty gnarly, cringy story.
I used to bite people.
You were one of those kids.
But I was one of those kids, like, from preschool to kindergarten.
Oh my god.
Got expelled in first grade.
Ooh, do tell.
So I don't know how to start this story. Kid and I, we're chilling. His name is Brody. I feel free to use his name because I've known this kid forever, and nor does he probably care. We were just chilling, coloring, you know, whatever you do in first grade. All of a sudden, we decided that we wanted to go under the table and whip our dicks out.
I'm sorry, so this has gone into a sex episode?
No. So.
First grade?
Yeah. First grade.
Child pornography.
So he went under the table, and then I went under the table. And I still don't know how we got caught. Because, like, it was maybe a couple days after the incident that our teacher called our parents and was like, "Hey, we got information that your child is whipping his dick out in 1st grade. What's going on with that?" So we fessed up and shit, but like, yeah, almost expelled for whipping my little willy out in 1st grade. I was happy. I got confidence, but
Can't relate.
So, I do have a question before I start my stories. Growing up, did you guys watch shows and like think you could do the things that the characters were doing in those shows?
yes, all the time.
Well,
So,
I didn't think that I could,
but you tried.
but I thought it was fun to pretend.
See, I remember watching Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Dragon Ball Z Kai on Nicktoons. And I remember watching Dragon Ball Z Kai and the Frieza saga of Dragon Ball Z Kai. Goku goes Super Saiyan for the first time. So, little me is sitting there watching him go Super Saiyan, like getting all excited, like going crazy, and like he's doing all this stuff. And I remember standing up from the couch and just screaming and like flexing my muscles as hard as I could, thinking that I could go Super Saiyan.
I bet you looked like you were taking a hard shit.
Yes, I was like stood up at the edge of the couch, ass like out, like ah! My mom comes out and she just starts yelling at me. She's like, "Go ahead, you stop!" Like so upset with me. I also remember standing in my bedroom while I was younger, like trying to do a spirit bomb over my head, like the dumbest shit. Oh, Kamehameha wave. Yeah, your boy would. But yeah, no.
I used to try to like climb walls and stuff because I
like
wanted to be Spider-Man.
Okay, clearly I was the weird kid of the three of us because I would eat grass.
I ate grass too, but I was much older when I tried to eat grass. Like old enough to know that I shouldn't eat grass.
No, I straight up. Okay, so when I was a little kid, I had a stepbrother and stepsister, Jeremy and Emily. And we read Spirit Animals. I don't know if you read those books.
No.
But they were just about like these kids had these animals that they could summon, and the animals would help fight with them, and all this stuff. But whatever properties the animal had, you got those properties as well.
Oh.
So I used to think my spirit animal was a bull. I would sit in our backyard and eat grass. And then I would run head first and like headbutt people, headbutt our fence, headbutt our jungle gym, which had hornets in it, which that was fun. But yeah, I would just straight up sit out there and eat grass for a solid like 20 minutes.
When I was
Grass never looked appetizing to me.
crazy, well, so I remember going to like a church camp where we would go and like stay a week in like cabins in the woods. Like we would be dropped off, no electronics, with like counselors and stuff. Like it was a put together thing. And I remember we hadn't had lunch yet. Like the one day we were having like a really late lunch because we were doing like an archery thing while we were there. And so that day we were gonna have a late lunch. I remember sitting there like waiting for my turn and being like super hungry. And I was sitting and like talking to some of the other kids and I'm like, I'm hungry. And they're like, yeah, me too. I'm like, I'm just gonna start eating grass. And they're like, what? And I sure enough sat there and started just picking and eating the grass. It's dying.
Oh my god,
And
I was waiting
Yeah, grass.
so long to cough.
I remember sitting there and like picking handfuls of grass and eating them.
Will you grab my Powerade if it's out there?
Yeah, that was an awkward thing that I did growing up. Was in church camp, decided that I was hungry and the only thing I could eat was grass.
You went to church camp?
A couple of times, yeah. The only really like churchy thing we did was we would every night we'd sit around the campfire, weather permitting, of course, and then sing like like church-related campfire songs, I guess. Like,
Because Jesus Christ is my...
no, not that one. Like we would do, like there were just songs that were like, there were campy vibed songs, but they would be like related to like Jesus Christ and the Bible and all that stuff. So like it wasn't super churchy like the whole time. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, Jesus this, Jesus that. It was mostly like an experience of camp with a little bit of church involved.
You have a, you have a priest?
Wasn't Catholic.
What's the difference? I don't do religion.
I don't
do
know.
Any of that.
I'm not. For the record, I'm not going to get into my religious beliefs. So I don't know anything about religion. Shut up. You and your God complex need to calm it down.
I am one. It's not. It's just how it goes. Prove me wrong.
If you guys have seen my streams, you know this man, when we play Apex on Sundays,
is a God.
has the largest God complex.
Is a God. Straight up God. I haven't found someone who is better than me at everything I can do. And until then, that means I'm better than you. I'm sorry.
It doesn't make you God, though.
It makes me God.
Because God didn't believe he was better than everybody.
How do we know?
Because the Bible says so.
Bible specifically says God did not believe he was the best.
Yeah, that's like the thing, is being humble is part of...
Not much of a God then, is he?
Oh my god.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that one when we start getting comments.
You're talking about his God complex? Anyway. Do you have
we're
any...
talking about him being Catholic.
I was
him
not
not
Catholic.
being Catholic, sorry. Him going to religious camp.
Oh, I've never been to a religious camp.
It really was just camp with slight religion involved. It
Wait.
wasn't like church camp.
It just seems like camp with better, or I mean, I would normally say better songs because I feel like religion's got their songs down by now.
Our campfire
Camp
songs are pretty nice.
Yeah, camp songs aren't always the most fun.
Campfire,
Nope.
sing our campfire
No,
song.
our songs for church camp were pretty nice, like pretty solid music. I never felt like annoyed singing any of the music, so. What about you? Do you have any other cringe stories from when you were younger?
Cringe stories.
Because as kids, everyone does cringe shit.
I mean, you used to.
I mean, some girls are into that now.
I'm into that.
Alright, continue.
Well, I remember I was going to try and pass as a teacher one time at 6th grade camp.
6th grade? You're gonna be
So, I really liked kayaking, but you could only do kayaking for a certain amount of time. But the teachers were having an event where they were going to kayak in the morning. So I was gonna get it, like, I even talked to another teacher about this, and I was like, do you think I could do that? And she's like, well, I mean, me and you are like the same height, so you might be able to pass as a teacher, I don't know.
She led you on to believe that you could?
Oh my gosh.
So, I didn't end up doing it, but I was so close to waking up early in the morning and going to the kayaking event. I would have probably been like kicked out.
That's so funny.
I just think that's wild that the teacher was like, I mean, you're my height.
It was, I think it was the librarian.
Were you actually their height?
Mm-hmm.
In 6th grade?
Mhm.
How
Short.
short were the teachers?
She was short.
Okay. I was gonna say, because in 6th grade, I'm 6'3" now, but in 6th grade I was not as tall as our teachers.
That's crazy.
I was a little dwarf in 6th grade.
So that's a bit cringe.
That's pretty funny though. I don't have much. Oh, well, this is really cringe, but I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this. But when you're really young and you go to like stores like Walmart and stuff, your like first instinct is you want to go to the toy aisle and like look at all the toys and stuff.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
still do that.
so my dad we would go to Walmart, and like as soon as the sliding doors would open, I would book it as fast as I could, straight to the toy aisle. Like, leave my parents and just run to it. And my dad would be upset because he'd be like, you need to stay with me, blah, blah, blah. Well, the one day, the door opens. As the door's open, my dad's like, do not run off. You're going to be in trouble if you run off. And I was like, okay. Door's open, I booked it to the toy aisle. Didn't care, just ran. So my dad, instead of immediately coming to grab me, goes into the Halloween section, because it was Halloween at the time, and grabs the largest rubber spider that he could find. I was really young, like I had been like 4 or 5 years old, like really young, and grabs the biggest rubber spider he can find, comes to the toy aisle with his hand behind his back and goes, hey, come here. So I walk over all shamefully, and as soon as I'm getting like pretty damn close to him, he drops rubber spider on the ground right in front of me. And that thing hits the ground, it's like moving, so it looks kind of real for me. And I just start screaming, and I run to the other end of the aisle where some random lady is just shopping. And I grab her leg, I'm on the ground behind her, grab her legs, and like looking through her legs going, no, freaking out. My dad's crying, laughing. Like he thinks this is the funniest thing. Comes over to me, I'm like, Dad, no, freaking out. And he apologizes to the lady while he's laughing. He grabs me by the arm, he's like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, like freaking out. He tells this story so often. Anytime we're like out camping or we're sitting on a fire or something with some of his buddies or whatever, he decides that this is the story he wants to tell while I'm sitting there. And I just look at him and I go, you're an asshole. And he goes, oh yeah, I know.
See, stories like that for me, I have a lot with my dad, but I was super little, so I don't super remember them all, but he regularly does tell this one. I don't know if he still tells it, because I'm not,
Do you have to drink it like that?
Obviously.
Is that good?
And that's some good hydration.
Water.
What?
No ice.
Rice.
But my dad and I, when we were little, or when I was little, I guess,
When we were little, your dad's your age.
we used to go to Subway. And I don't super love Subway anymore, but it does bring me back. And we would go there, and he always got jalapenos on his sub. He didn't call them jalapenos, he called them tasty pickles. So
I'm sorry, that's
so when I was about 4 or 5 maybe, we're sitting there, I'm eating my little half sub, he's got his full sub. I didn't get a drink. Mistakes were made. And a jalapeno falls out of his sub. And I'm like, hey, Dad, what's that? And he goes, oh, it's nothing. It's just a tasty pickle. He knows he's enticed me. He called it tasty. So I'm sitting there, and he could see me, like, thinking about it. And all I do is, as fast as I can, I reach over. Because I'm thinking if I'm slow, he's going to grab it before me. So all he sees is, it was not a pickle.
No, it's funny because, like, you would think, like, if it was, like, your mom, and she dropped a jalapeno on her rubber, and her kid was reaching for it, she would be like, oh no, you don't want to eat that.
Should have slapped the fuck out of my hand.
Yeah, for a dad, they see a kid, like, reaching for something spicy, knowing it's gonna, like, make them cry, and the dad's like, oh, hell yeah, do it.
He watched it and left.
Yeah.
I ended up eating that whole jalapeno bite, and then downing his large soda. Subway does not have small soda. Like, the large sodas are, like...
Big. They're big.
Downed the whole thing and cried.
Yeah, no, like, that's the biggest thing with, like, between dads and moms. Mom's like, the kid gets hurt, and they're like, oh my god, are you okay? Like, they try to prevent you getting hurt. The dad is like, I hope you get hurt so you become a man.
Do it.
Like, I remember my dad trying to teach me how to ride a bike. In my house, like, we don't have a lot of land, but, like, we have a good sized yard. And you've seen my house. Not daily, but, like, we have this hill up in one corner of our yard. And, like, so he taught me to try and ride, like, from the top of this hill, and he would just kind of have me coast down the hill and try and learn how to ride down the hill. Well, he takes me to the top of the hill, and he kind of, like, go down the hill. And I'm going, And I wipe out, and my handlebar like hits me in the side and like breaks skin all across my side, like right here. And I'm bleeding, and I'm like like freaking out. And my dad's reaction was, "Stop crying, get up, we're doing it again." And I said, "No, I'm done." And I got up and I walked inside because I was bleeding. I was like, "I'm hurt." I get inside and I go to my mom, and she's like, "No, you're fine. You should go back and learn how to ride your bike." I was like, she's like, "You're fine." Like,
didn't you get like a Band-Aid?
Yeah, she like cleaned it up and like covered it, and then she was like, it wasn't a Band-Aid worthy. It was pretty large cut, and so she just like bandages it up and says, "All right, go back out there."
That's what I would do.
And
This is why I have your God. Yeah, I hate you.
And so it was like really funny for me looking back on it. But I remember my dad just being like, "Now you're fine, rub some dirt in it," in his mentality. And like, I was like, "Dad, come on, man. Will you stop it?"
He said, "Play with the fidget cube, just not loud."
Yeah, but then he balances the switch and he goes, "Guys,
He can't do it. That's what I'm
guys, look, guys, look."
That hands it right back.
No, like, no, my dad he's done some funny things in my life. Like, when he made, this was a lot farther down in my life. I was probably like 15 when this happened. But my dad really likes spicy things. He's a huge spice guy. And so he made buffalo chicken dip with like Frank's Red Hot and ranch, like the regular way you make buffalo chicken dip. And made a batch of that, and then he made a batch with this like Carolina Reaper hot sauce. Really hot. It literally comes in like a skull-shaped jar. And he makes that batch, and he puts them in the same sized, colored Tupperware containers in the fridge on top of each other like this. And so I go in the fridge thinking he just made a lot of it. So I just grab one of the Tupperware containers, pop it in the microwave, take a whole bag of chips with me, I just go upstairs with it. And my dad, knowing damn well I'm too lazy to get the bottom one, I'm just going to take the one on top, knows that I have the super spicy one. And he starts giggling as I'm moving upstairs. I'm like, what's he laughing at? Whatever. And I go upstairs, and I start eating it. I love buffalo chicken dip, so I'm just like eating. And I take some and I go, oh, this is really spicy. Oh, and I had a cup like this size cup. Like, this is a pretty large cup, right? I have a cup like this size, and I down the whole thing of water. I'm like, oh, this is so really spicy. And I run downstairs and I'm filling it up, drinking it. And my dad starts howling in the living room laughing. He's like in tears in the living room, like about to fall out his chair, like on the floor laughing. And I am like, oh, that's so funny. And he goes, which one did you take? And I went, the one on top. And he goes, oh, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm like, why? And he goes, I made that with that skull hot sauce. And I was just so upset because it took like an hour for my mouth to finally calm down. And because I didn't eat a lot of spicy things with him. Like, the spiciest thing I'd had was Frank's Red Hot.
Now you're better at spice.
Oh, now I'm much better at spice. But like then, the spiciest thing I'd ever had was like Frank's Red Hot, and that was it. And so that was rough. Like, I was really upset for a good while. Like, tears, snot coming out my nose, like, oh, the whole 9 yards.
I'm surprised that didn't happen with the Death Nut. Like, I fully went in there expecting you guys to have tears and snot.
It was bad. Don't get me wrong. The Death Nut was bad.
Oh yeah.
Like, really bad. It is probably the hottest thing I've had, but I've learned to tolerate spice so much more that like I don't cry as much when I eat spicy things anymore. It's just uncomfortable.
When you eat spicy things.
When I was younger, I used to. I've tolerated spice a lot more now, so like I don't really cry when I eat super spicy things.
I watched a kid cry because Tabasco sauce was too hot for him in college.
I watched my sister cry because she ate Wendy's spicy nuggets and thought they were too spicy.
Those things are so good.
She ate one Wendy's spicy nugget and started bawling. She said it was too hot. It was so funny. She's not a spicy person. How about you guys? Got any more stories you want to tell from your childhood?
I broke my leg when I was 4.
How'd you break your leg when you were 4?
I grew up at the racetrack. Both my uncles raced. One of my uncles raced in figure eights with Frankenstein cars, so it's just like chop shops.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of my uncles raced his dragster on the strip. We were at the figure eight competition, and I was sitting there. It was my mom, my dad, my cousin, and me. Uncle was out there. my aunt and my other cousin were working because they worked at that racetrack. And I went to lean on my cousin. I was sleepy. I was tired. We were on like, not the highest, but the highest rafter of the bleachers, but we were like pretty mid to it. And went to lean on my cousin. She got up and I went whoop right through the bleachers. Smacked a bar on my way down, I guess, and then went crunched straight onto the gravel ground.
Did you guys have any irrational fears when you were kids?
I was gonna tell a story about how I almost broke my thumb.
Nice, go for it. Tell us.
So, shopping is boring, right?
Yeah. Terribly boring.
So, what I used to do as a kid is I used to ride in a cart, in the shopping cart.
Like in the basket part? Or like in the seat?
I was actually in the bottom of the cart.
It's like the basket part. Oh, no. the rack at the bottom.
The rack at the bottom of the cart. And while we're riding around, I'm looking at the ground and I'm like, wow, it looks like we're going super fast because I'm like right next to the wheels and stuff. So then I like go out to touch the floor and my hand goes right under the cart and smashes right over my thumb. And I sprained my thumb.
Oh my god. I thought you were just like you stuck your thumb like where the wheel and like the bracket is for the wheel.
Just
stuck your
stop
thumb
on the
in
fucking
there.
cart.
No, my
Goodbye,
thumb went right under the wheel and it was like...
Oh.
Z-Money is the type of person that when he goes go-karting, he wants to see if he can touch the ground. Me? Oh, this is cool. I wonder how... like, he shaves the part of his hand off.
Yo, I bet I could high-five that sign. My arm is gone.
Wrist is just disappeared.
Does that scene from Deadpool when he breaks his wrist when he punches
Colossal.
and he's just like, oh, that's not good.
All the dinosaurs fear the T-Rex.
It's a good clip. I broke my sister's finger once. So, whenever I was pretty young, and my sisters are older than me, my oldest sister is 6 years older than me. So she was watching us, and my mom was upstairs like showering or something. And so she was like supposed to be like watching over us, and there's a window at the bottom of our stairs that we were never allowed to have open for some reason. Because we were right by the stairs, so you could just climb out of it. My mom didn't want to fall out that window. So we were never allowed to have it open if she wasn't around. Well, my sisters had it open. And I was really young, and I knew, like, hey, we get in trouble if we have this open. We can't have this open. So they're, like, kind of leaning out, like watching, like, looking out the window. And, like, my sister, Natalie, she's my middle sister, she had her hand up on, like, where the window closes. And I walk over, I'm like, hey, we're not allowed to have this open. And I grab the window and I slam it shut. I'm really young. Well, my sister Miranda gets her hands back, and my sister Natalie gets her one hand back, but her pointer finger is still there at the track, and it slams on her finger, and she just starts crying, right?
Understandable.
Yeah, because, you know, you just broke your finger, it's crammed in a window, being slammed shut. And so my oldest sister Miranda thinks like, oh, she just has her hair stuck, whatever, we'll just lift the window and get her out, it'll be fine. And they lift the window, and her finger is like purple, like clearly been crushed by the window. And Miranda starts freaking out because Miranda's like, oh my gosh, if mom finds out, I'm in so much trouble, blah 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 blah. So she tells Natalie to not tell mom, to just hide it. So my sister's a broken finger. It's obviously broken.
This is some child
and
shit.
They go in back in her room and she starts hiding it, and they hid it for like a while, like a few hours.
That's not
finally,
good.
Natalie's like, I gotta tell mom, like it hurts so bad, we gotta tell her. Mara's like, no, don't tell her. Finally, Natalie tells mom, and mom's like, oh my gosh, are you getting freaked out? She's so like worried. What happened? She's like, don't tell mom what happened. She's like, oh, my finger got slammed in the window, blah, 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 blah. Like, mom was not mad at all about the window. She was so concerned about her finger. So she goes to the hospital, they do x-rays, they found her finger is like broken, like really badly broken. And so they get her like a finger split and all that stuff, and it heals. But I remember them telling us this story, and Miranda being like, I was so afraid that mom was gonna like ground me and be so mad at me that we had this window open. But she didn't care at all that we were looking out that window. Actually, she didn't care that the window was open at all. She wouldn't have been mad if she would have come downstairs and saw the window open. She would have.
So unfortunately, our recording stopped. But during his whole thing, I'm just imagining these two little girl Zacks, beard and all, like, sitting there in the window, cartooning. Little Zack walking up, and these two are just looking out the window, and he's walking up, and he goes, "Huh, that shouldn't be open." And in the background, you just hear, "That's why I love Nestle Crunch." But I'm imagining the little girl's finger like
Dawn like chops off. Yeah, that's so funny. Like that when you said that, like that image, like that'd be a great animation. Oh, dude, that's so good.
I'm gonna have to animate this one day.
Yeah, that's such a good story animated. Yeah, I remember that. Like it was so. Like I was so young that I don't really remember the story well, but like Miranda does. So when she retells the story, she just like you hear it from like a scared child perspective of like, Mom's coming. Oh,
tell Mom that your finger is purple.
Having stairs as a child led to some wild things that we did. So I used to have this.
Wait, having what?
Stairs
in our house.
But
like
people usually have stairs.
Yes, but it leads to kids doing really dumb things because you imagine them as like a hill.
Like trying to sled down them.
So
yes, I love doing that.
We had our stairs.
Well, not with
exited. Our stairs exited straight into our dining room. So the bottom of the stairs was our dining room table and chairs, and so we decided it would be fun to take the lid from the toy chest that we had, which was sled shaped and it was big enough to sit a small child, and we would take it to the top of the stairs and slide down the stairs on this toy chest lid. Problem being that we had a dining room table at the bottom of the stairs, so we would try and like shift the table over enough so we had a landing zone. We put like pillows and stuff at the bottom, like that body pillow right next to you. We would have that over on the wall, like sitting upright, like on the wall, as like a crash pad for.
Is that your head?
Yeah, for a crash pad for the wall. So when we
Not
slid,
the first time.
So when we slid and we'd hit that pillows, our crash pad. We had like a bunch of pillows down there. It's like our landing zone. It was safe, Mom. It's okay. She was not having it. So my sister Natalie had a friend over, and my sister Natalie's friend went down. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. My turn, my turn." And as Natalie was like sitting on the sled, getting ready to go down, Mom comes out of her room because she hears a commotion and goes, "Absolutely not!" and grabs Natalie off the sled that we had made and says, "You're not doing that." And Natalie's response being, "She already did it. It's my turn." And Mom went ballistic. She was like, "You let her go down the stairs on the lid?" And Natalie's response is just, "Oh yeah, it sounded fun."
See, I never succeeded in that.
So what'd you make the sled out of?
The sled was just a toy chest lid and then pillows on the toy chest lid so it was comfortable on the way down.
Okay.
So when you hit the bottom of the stairs and wiped out, that hard floor was real painful compared to the sled and the crash pad we had made.
Why didn't you make the pillows the crash pad? I mean, I know you had the one pillow.
We had a few pillows down there as a crash pad.
Oh,
Like
okay.
a bunch of pillows in the corner that we were trying to hit.
I mean,
But
at
then,
least you were smart enough to make a crash pad.
well, yeah, we knew that we were just gonna slam into the wall at full tilt. So, and if we would put a hole in the wall, Mom would have been mad. Mom was mad enough already that we were doing it. So we also put a pillow on the sled so that we could like be comfortable on the way down, right? Because you're hitting stairs. Well, I also remember falling on the stairs a lot as a kid. So my stairs, I wasn't very fond of doing fun things on our stairs because I'd fallen down those things a lot. Well, more times than I'd like to admit. But I remember we tried to use a laundry basket once, and if you've seen the videos on YouTube, it doesn't end well using a laundry basket because they have corners, and the corners will hit a stair and it'll flip, and you'll just get ejected from the laundry basket at full tilt. So this was before.
That's why I threw the laundry basket down with some weights in it first to see how it would go.
See,
and then I'm like,
about that.
no, that's a bad idea.
And it was before we were old enough to look up how things would go on YouTube. like stuff like that. We were too young. We were so young to the
I
point
didn't
where we
have
just, like,
YouTube when I was growing up.
we had a family computer that we would watch YouTube videos on. What I remember is
I webkins.
my
Same.
sister Natalie sits in the basket with pillows in it, and she's like, "All right, send me down. It'll be great." So me and Miranda push the basket down the stairs, and sure enough, the whole way down the stairs. I think she hit like the second step down of like the top, like the second step down, and it just boom, 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 boom down the stairs.
Dude, I didn't even get that lucky. The first time my siblings and I ever tried doing that shit, we had our stairs went down, and then there was a 90-degree platform that went
other way.
the other way.
See, what I did is I would either just slide on my butt, or I would slide down with a blanket.
Our goal was speed.
Yeah, same. I
And pain.
failed so hard. My siblings and I went to push me. They were like, if you go in the front, you'll go faster. I don't think either of my parents at the time knew that we were doing this. I still don't think they know. Hi, Mom. But I get in the front, and I'm sitting there, and they're like, all right, lean. And so I leaned. I didn't even make it down the first step. I fell out of the fucking thing, went thud, 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 and then went right into the wall because there was the platform. No, but my brother did.
So your brother saw you do it and did the same thing?
Yeah, he also had anger issues, and that night repeated to punch a hole in our wall.
The same wall, just like punching holes.
No, in our bedroom. He was just like really pissed off one night. I couldn't figure out why. It was over the OG PlayStation 2 Battlefront. He had like lost as a Jedi or something, and he just went bam and put his hand through our wall.
The average angry white dude thing is just punching holes in drywall.
We were like 7.
It doesn't matter. It's there. It's in our brains.
I've never punched a hole in the wall. I don't think I ever
I've
will.
never punched.
I've thrown Wii remotes at the wall before.
Oh, Wii bowling? That's fun. Especially when you forget to put the strap on.
I love strap-ons.
I put a knife through a wall, but that was it.
No, I remember some dumb shit. I remember playing the Wii as a kid. And like playing like OG Mario Galaxy, and the nunchuck was never reliable on the Wii. It always would become like unconnected at some point, but it's like plugged in, but like it wouldn't register anymore. And so I wouldn't have movement anymore. And so I would get like really upset. And I remember doing like a really hard mission, being so far in, and hard for me as a kid. And I remember hitting this ending, and I couldn't move anymore, and I wound up dying. And I got so mad that I grabbed the Wii remote and the nunchuck, and I just went boom and threw them like at the wall to my left. So it was just like a boom, and they hit the wall, and it just goes boom, and it hits the ground. And I never told my mom. Hi, Mom. If you're wondering why one of the Wii remotes was broken as a kid, like there's always one, and we still used the Wii remote, like for a long time, because it wasn't like broken to the point where it was unusable. It just like
It got boring.
it was like it hits the wall and just fell, and it wouldn't respond properly. Like 2 of the buttons, I think it was the A and the 2 button, don't respond properly anymore on a remote.
I've never broken a controller.
I've never broken one, but I've damaged one.
I mean, are we classifying damaged one as an overtime thing, or like
No,
you dropped
like-
it or something?
Like
got
you've
damaged?
thrown it and it wasn't broken, but it was like
Nope, I haven't
not
done that.
using. Really?
I put a controller through a TV once, but other than that, and it was during like OG Black Ops Nazi Zombies time.
Oh jeez.
My cousin and I were sitting there. We were on Keener to Toten, making it to round 100. Made it to round literally 99, and both of our controllers died.
Did you play COD on the Wii?
No.
COD 4 on the Wii was the worst experience of my life. Having to use like
You just had to
visual
get the
controls.
guns.
We didn't have those. We were so like, my mom had gotten us a Wii, but then wouldn't buy us any of the accessories for the Wii.
Oh, see, we had accessories.
Did you have the
just
Wii board though?
Playing the
Oh, the Wii Fit
The
board?
Wii Fit board, yeah.
That was just so dumb.
Where you couldn't, like, your toes always had to be on it, so if you were skiing and you went to, like, jump, you would disconnect.
And it'd be like, hey, you jumped on the board.
Don't do
Don't do
that.
that.
Don't do that.
And then you'd have to restart from the beginning.
Dude, the Wii was a great time when I was younger. Actually, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, the thing that's off camera over there, the reason I have 2 controllers now is because I bought the second controller for it. Originally, we had 2. We had the one that came with it.
And the one you broke.
And the one we broke, which was like one of those clear, like see-through, you could see the board underneath controllers.
Oh, that's cool.
And they were super cool. It was purple, it was like see-through, it was really nice. My sister and I wound up fighting over the second player controller. My sister Natalie and I always fought. Growing up, being the middle and the youngest, we always fought. I never fought with my older sister because she was oldest. She got the rights to
So
like,
you
do
intentionally broke her fingers. What are you saying?
No, I was too young to be fighting with her at that point. I would just cry when I was near her. So we would fight all the time, and we were fighting over player 2, like whose turn it was. And I remember, like, I think I had a hold of the wire for the controller, and she had the controller. And we were like tug of war, like, I don't want to play, it's my turn, my turn, my turn. And sure enough, she pulled and I pulled at the same time, and the wire in the controller just goes, I give up, and comes out of the controller. And my sister and I just look at each other and go, guess neither of us are player 2. And like, that was it. Like, we weren't allowed to play. My mom's like, I'm not buying you guys another controller. You all will take turns with one controller. If you break that one, it's done. Don't care. So
You just have an empty system.
yeah, so like that was fun.
Go play with sticks.
When's the first time you guys played Cards Against Humanity?
At my sister Miranda's graduation party from high school.
High school. Okay.
Here.
Really?
Mine
Yeah.
was way earlier than that.
Played with you.
Mine was
So-
like
Yeah.
either, I think it was middle school. Yeah. It was a time where I was still doing karate, because karate had like a game night event, and I went there, and like everyone was playing, well, not everyone, like the older kids as well as the adults were playing Cards Against Humanity, and I was like, what's this game? So I ended up playing with them. Like, the adults like encouraged it too. They're like, yeah, we won't tell your parents. And it's like, oh, thank God.
My mom tried to like shelter me a lot as a child. Mom called
If
me
my
outside.
mom would have known that I was playing that game there, she would have been like, you're
Oh, yeah.
grounded.
Yeah.
Well, now she does.
Oh, no, she definitely does. I told her, like, in high school.
Yeah, like my mom tried to shelter me a lot as a child from like a lot of things. Like, she didn't want me watching Dragon Ball when I was younger because of the fighting. She didn't want me watching Family Guy, all that stuff. Like, understandable things that a lot of parents are like, oh, you don't watch that because it's violence, or don't watch that because they swear, that kind of stuff.
Violence and movies and sex on TV.
And sex on YouTube. Anyway, we were playing, yeah, like, mom tried to shelter me a lot. So, like, I remember finally getting to play Cards Against Humanity in, like, 7th grade. But playing with your parents is one of the most uncomfortable things when you're that young. Because you play a card that you think is absolutely hilarious, the situation, and then your parent reads it. And your parent's like, who played this card? This isn't funny. And you're like... like, my humor with you guys is so different than my humor has to be with my mom. Like,
Yeah.
so different.
Same. So I actually played Cards Against Humanity with my mom one time. It was a little bit more recently, so it wasn't like I was like freshman in high school.
Yeah,
No.
when you're still like under your parents' roof, playing Cards Against Humanity with them is one of the most awkward things ever. But once you're like on your own, doing your own thing, it's like...
It was hilarious because I would play a card and she'd be like, you know what that is? And I'd be like,
Yeah, yeah, because your parents would be like, oh, you know what this is, and you're like, how'd you learn? Don't ask. Don't want to know the answer to that. Yeah, I haven't played Cards with my... Cards Against Humanity with my mom since
Cards
like...
Against my Hannity.
my Hannity since like 7th grade. I don't play that game with my mom.
Tried to play Exploding Kittens with my mom, and that went south. Literally, first card play. Played a card, and she went, "We're gonna clean up." I was like, "Aw." Got it for Christmas.
The
Nope.
the first time I played Exploding Kittens was at my cousin's house
Never
with
played.
my family.
I've never played Exploding Kittens.
It's like that.
It's not really, because none of the cards are bad.
I mean,
Unless if you call like
It's
the
probably more
cat, the human coming out of like the cat's ass or something.
it's probably
What
more
about
like,
the nipple wizard and shit? Like,
Okay, so the pictures with the captions are the weirdest part about the game, but the game itself and the contents within it aren't actually that bad.
We played a lot of Apples to Apples and Apples to Apples Junior when I was younger.
I love that game.
Version of. It's just like Cartoon Companion, but for kids.
Yeah.
Like Apples to Apples is the most PG-13 version of Cartoon Humanity in existence.
It's
and
fun.
then there's Apples to Apples Junior, which is even more childish. Oh, do you guys ever play Clue Junior when you were kids?
No, I just played Clue.
Oh,
I just played Clue.
Clue Junior is like Clue, but you're trying to figure out who ate the cake. That's like the murder you're trying to solve.
My mom didn't like playing Clue with me. I was really good at Clue, and I tried to play it every time. My stepdad at the time liked to play Parcheesi. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Never played it. I've heard of it.
It's the fancy, uptight version of Sorry, Jim. Go fuck yourself for wanting to play that game.
Fuck you, Jim.
I was a kid. That game was not fun.
Hi, Jim.
No. It was sad, Jim. And then my mom enjoys Yahtzee.
My mom also really enjoys Yahtzee.
Which is why I have a Naruto Yahtzee set in my room and all that.
My mom.
Yahtzee everything.
My mom is somehow really good at Yahtzee.
Same. I call her a cheater and she gets so mad.
There's no way. Being good at Yahtzee is like not a thing because Yahtzee is all luck-based. It's luck-based. But somehow my mom always wins by like 100 points.
Yeah, she's sitting there and she's like, guys, I'm gonna get one Yahtzee this game. I'm getting a Yahtzee, and all of a sudden, like, second roll, she's like, Yahtzee! I'm like, what the fuck, Mom?
My mom always gets Yahtzees, and, like, no one else will get them. It's so weird.
Another thing is, though, like, the wild spaces, like, you have to choose where you want to put certain rolls.
Yeah.
And what you want to keep out of your roll.
But even if you know that...
So there's a little bit of...
I mean, even if you know that, like, if you don't
That's
roll...
statistics on dice, though.
But if you still don't roll, like, your full house, or your four of a kind, or your three... Like, if you still don't roll those, that's still points you don't get. My mom always gets all of her extra stuff.
Yeah, let it be known that in junior and high school year, I loved data analysis and statistics. So statistics was like my shit. I was in AP Stats, I was on top of it. The amount of times that she rolls Yahtzee shouldn't happen.
Impossible.
It shouldn't happen. At max, it can take you 8 rolls to roll Yahtzee, but it can take you more.
We need to put our moms in a room with a table, and they need to play Yahtzee against each other, and the world will just implode.
Oh my god.
Okay, so I just realized that we're doing a Discord call next weekend, right, for the podcast?
Yes, we are.
So I should probably give you your Christmas presents now.
Oh yeah, he got you Christmas presents.
What? Are we doing Christmas presents?
No, he got them because he wanted to. So go grab them. Go grab them. We'll do them this episode.
I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I guess open your gift. I didn't know I was getting a gift. I didn't know I was getting a gift.
I didn't know we were doing gifts.
Yeah. It's a fidget
It's a fidget cube, except it's purple.
It's purple and pink.
Mine glows in the dark.
Yeah, mine's cool.
I bought mine, but
Thank you.
We were at Walmart and he was looking for one, and I found one. I'm like, oh yeah, I want one. He went, oh, there they are, and he grabbed one. Okay, I'm gonna open mine.
All right.
I didn't know you got me a gift. Now I'm. Whew. I'm sorry. Oh, that's so cool! It's a Dragon Ball shot glass. That's so fucking awesome, dude. Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That's sick.
I love that. It's got Super Saiyan Goku and Dragon Ball Z on the back. That's literally my childhood. Like, was Dragon Ball growing up. So that's. Now I can be an adult, and it still is my adulthood. Now I can get drunk.
Now
with
you can
Goku.
drink with
Now I
it.
get drunk with Goku. That's so cool. I love that.
With the Goku.
I'm glad you liked it because I was like, I think this is something he wants.
Well, my cup is Dragon Ball too.
Yeah.
I have a. Oh, I can play. Hold on, this is really. I have a Dragon Ball little straw cup, and so I'm gonna make mixed drinks in my big cup and take shots out of my drink.
You know what's wild?
What?
Is I was gonna go to Walmart and buy one of these today.
Let's go! Perfect time.
Yes.
All right, get open your thing.
Yeah.
Christmas came early. He got him fidget toys because if you guys have noticed or not throughout these episodes, he will grab whatever is on this desk and play with it. Like, there could be something. I think in the first episode,
It was a lock.
he was playing with this, which is just a lock. I hate to break it to y'all, but that's all it is. And he was going, wow, this is fun.
Yeah,
During
like
the
the
podcast.
second episode, he asks, he's like, "What's the passcode to this?" And you're like,
My birth year.
Yeah.
You're a bad friend if you don't know my birth year.
Thank you.
"You're welcome."
Yeah, he got those at Walmart today. Ah, I didn't know you got me a gift. I'm so happy. That's so cool.
Yeah,
He was sneaky.
I
He
saw
was.
that in the store, and I was like, "I think he'd like this too." And I was literally playing with it the entire way through the store.
Demon was like, I like this.
yeah.
I see these all the time.
Once I knew that I liked it, I was like, "This is it."
That's awesome. Thanks, dude.
Zach.
We feel bad because we didn't get him a gift yet, but we're gonna get him gifts now.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah,
There will be a gift episode. There will be
there will be a gift. This
a
is
Christmas episode.
part of our Christmas episode. When we're back in the end of January, we'll have gifts.
Have you heard that audio on
Yes.
TikTok?
That's awesome, dude. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that. I've never had a shot glass, so that's super cool. You're so excited. You're living like a kid on Christmas right now. It's so funny.
I like to fidget.
Did you guys get any like really cool gifts when you were really young?
I got so you know those little like those like cars, like the little cars? We got like a little Jeep.
A little big wheel.
Yeah. I love that thing. I drove that thing around the yard all the time.
When mine finally like gave up, my mom sold it. It was sad. What about you? You ever get anything really cool for Christmas when you were younger?
Got an electric scooter when I was little.
Oh,
Like those Razor ones that you see at Walmart and shit.
yeah.
Except it didn't charge properly, and the first time I tried to ride it, I went too fast and hit a curb and ate it.
I'm gonna ask, did you guys ever get scooter ankled when you were younger?
Yes.
What is that?
When you're riding and like the bottom part of the scooter comes up and it swings around and gets you in the ankle.
Ooh, yes, I did.
That happened to me so many times. My buddy, when I used to live in the trailer park with my dad, my buddy actually had a scooter, like a regular old scooter that we'd ride around all the time because I never had a scooter growing up. And I remember my first time riding it, I like slipped off the side of it, so I still had the handlebars, and I kind of like bailed off the side, and the whole bottom part just at full speed just boom right into my ankle, and I remember crying for like a long time.
Yeah, it would cut me and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
I would rather be like shot in the big toe than scooter ankled ever again in my life.
shot in the big toe.
I don't know about that one,
Like,
but
I would rather
shoot your
I
toe
would,
off first off.
I would rather like have a lot of other things in my life be like hurt me than be scooter ankled again.
Mhm.
Like I hated that. That feeling sucked. Like wiping out on your bike when you were younger was awful. Ugh. Hated hitting the ground off my bike and eating shit. My dad would just be like, "Oh, get up, stop being a little baby," but like, oh, I hated it.
Oh, I'm used to eating shit off my bike. I dirt bike.
So you grew up in that? Like I didn't grow up in that. Like we grew up I grew up riding a Harley with my dad.
I grew up riding a bicycle.
I ate a lot of shit off my bike.
That's one of the things that I really like is that my entire family kind of likes riding bikes, and it's something we can all do together and
Riding
just like
bikes is
talk.
fun, but I hated falling off bikes when I was younger. I hated wiping out. Like it was just the worst thing in my life was hitting the ground off my bike.
I don't really care about that anymore, but also I know that it's probably not likely to happen because
You guys have seen the mini bike.
oh yeah,
Like you guys have seen it.
both me and you wiped out.
I've wiped out twice on my mini bike now.
You wiped out on the mini bike.
Oh no, I didn't wipe out on his mini bike, but I wiped out on my ripstick, and then he came to go and get me, and then he wiped out
Yeah, so
on his mini bike.
The first time I wiped out, we have this really big hill here on campus that's like our sidewalk up from the student housing up to the main building and then back down. It's just a steep hill, and I ride the mini bike up it to class, and I ride it back down it to back to the dorms. And I was coming down the hill the one day, not too long after I'd gotten the bike, and like had it fixed up and everything. And I was coming down the hill, and my speaker, which I had just up in a little compartment by the handlebars, had fallen out, and I went to catch it, so I leaned to catch it, which led me to like pushing the handlebars away from me, which then hit the railing, and my handlebar jolted, and I got ejected off my bike at about 15 miles per hour and hit the concrete and like scraped up my arm really bad, tore up my boots a little bit, broke my boot laces, tore up my jeans. Like I was pretty upset about it. Got up, got all my stuff, and said, "Oh well." Got back on the mini bike, kept riding, didn't care. Whatever, like it happens. Second time, we were up at me and Z-Money here, we're up at the parking lot riding around, because we have a pretty large parking lot, and they had just paved this one section of the parking lot where like visitors park, I guess, stuff like that.
Yeah, it was really smooth.
It's very smooth, like it's brand new asphalt, they just painted it, like it's brand new. And it had just rained like the day before, and so it was all wet up there. And we were riding, and I was following him, he turned to go in that section of the parking lot, and he fell. Like he slid and he fell, and I was like, oh dang, he went down, I should go check on him. I went to follow him in, and I hit it, and my tires said nope, and out from under me the bike came, and I hit the ground.
It was funny though.
Yeah, it was really funny, but I got up, got on the bike, and said, man, Taco Bell sounds really good right now. We went back down to the dorm, I grabbed my keys, and I went to Taco Bell. Yeah, no, wiping out like, on the bike and stuff isn't fun, but like as I got older, like doing it is just a part of life, like you get used to it. It sucks, because like, that could put damage on your bike, and like you get hurt and whatever, but like,
that's the most important thing. Don't damage the bike.
Yeah, like,
you can break your leg, but don't damage the bike.
I don't care if I get hurt, because like I'll heal, but breaking a part of the bike won't heal.
Yeah,
you have to pay to replace it, and it's like, come on.
Sometimes you have to pay to replace.
I was gonna say you have to pay to break your arm.
Yeah, but like,
if
you don't break your arm, if you just like fall off, and your bike gets damaged, then you have like a bruise that'll heal.
His name is Tom.
You have a bruise that'll like heal, but like your bike's broken handlebars aren't going to heal. You're going to have to pay to fix it. So it's like, if my injuries are minor, then I'm going to be like, oh dang, you know.
Yeah.
What about your boots?
I got hurt. Oh, whatever. My boots are already scuffed up.
He was so butthurt.
I was mad because my laces broke. My lace broke, which means I had to buy new laces.
Laces aren't that expensive though.
It's still upsetting though. Still money I had to pay.
I still have to replace my laces on my Vans.
You should do that.
I don't wear them.
I
can't wear them.
But it sucked. Like wiping on the bike sucked. But like I got up and moved on. Like as I've gotten older, I can wipe out on bikes and be totally fine and be like whatever. But when you're young and you hit the ground on a bike, you don't want to get back on your bike for a while. And that's like I just hated that. Like I hated doing it.
I got a 2004 50cc Yamaha when I was little. So it was my birth year. And my dad told me that there was one rule. I could not ride it until I learned how to ride a bike without training wheels. Which, you know, that makes sense. That's solid. So I learned how to ride a bike without training wheels. What's like the normal age? Because I feel like I did it around normal age, like maybe 6.
Like 7 or 8, I feel like normal age to learn.
For riding bike?
Without training wheels.
I feel like 6
like learning how to ride without your training wheels.
I probably stopped riding training wheels probably around 6 or 7.
Yeah, okay.
That's about normal age. Like 6 to 8 range. Like before you turn 10, definitely. Is when you learn how to ride a bike without training wheels.
I mean, somebody we know's girlfriend does not know how to ride a bike.
Is it Jimbo or Bob?
Jimbo. And Jim Bennett.
That's funny.
Hilarious. You should learn how to ride a bike.
Yeah, Jim
Bikes
Bennett.
are fun.
Bikes are fun.
These are very fun.
So are skateboards and ripsticks.
And mini bikes are a great investment. Razor sponsor us.
They're not.
If Razor sponsors us, that means I can buy a discounted
ripstick.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, riding bikes has always been fun. I didn't learn how to ride a bike standing up until I was like 13 maybe.
Did anybody else believe that standing up made you faster?
Yes. Yes, definitely.
No.
I believe that
that's not how it works.
standing up riding a bike made me quicker.
We know that's not how it works now. Didn't at the start. That is loud. I'm like, stop clicking.
Which part's loud?
This is the gear.
Some of them have some.
This gear.
Oh.
It's really satisfying though. Right?
Yeah, like I remember learning how to ride a bike standing up for the first time. I was terrified to do that. I remember being told how, like, someone tried to teach me how to ride a bike without handlebars, and I wound up eating it really bad.
I learned how to ride no-handed recently. I can ride no-handed on my gravel bike, which has tires this thin.
Oh, have you ever ridden no-handed and then like sway your bike back and forth?
Sway your bike.
Like,
back
you
like
lean like this and your bike
yeah.
just like...
Oh yeah.
I've never learned how to ride a bike no-handed because someone tried to teach me, and I ate shit bad. Like, my handlebar would my pelvis, like, fucking hurt.
It's difficult, but it's easier if you have more speed. Because then your bike will just go with momentum.
Yeah, it should balance on its own.
I learned how to ride my bike one-handed. I learned how to ride my bike looking behind me.
One-handed. Sorry.
You just said don't use that part of the fidget because it's the loudest part, and then you decided to use it.
I don't think you have to teach yourself how to learn to ride with one
You do.
hand.
You do, because you're used to, like, your balance being in your hands.
Well,
so when you take one off, you, like, your hand wants to, like, pull you.
that's not necessarily true. So one of the ways that you have to like signal to turn is your hand.
Yeah.
Well,
It's your
young.
right hand.
I'm
This
saying
is
I was
left,
really
and this
young.
is right.
I was really young, so, like, I wasn't riding on the road and signaling to turn. I had learned, because someone was trying to teach me how to ride no-handed, they were like, you need to learn how to ride one-handed first. And I was like, okay. So, like, I tried to ride one-handed. I remember, like, my bike being, like, everywhere when I took my other hand off the handlebars. So I had to learn how to, like, be, like, regularly balanced with one hand. But no-handed, I still can't do it. Like, I usually way better time.
I literally.
I thought you were ripping ass at first.
So did I.
Yeah, riding a bike no-handed was a thing for me. Back home, at the one fire station right behind it, there's a big drop-off hill that we would take our bikes and ride down this huge drop-off hill all the time. So that was always interesting to do. I only did it once in my life, and I made it down there no problem. I'm like, cool, I'm ending on a high note. I'll never do that again.
I tried to jump my bike off of a wall that I was riding on with this girl, and I was trying to impress her, and I didn't pull up early enough.
You just hit the wall?
So my front tire went down, and I went to pull up, and it didn't pull. And so I basically just went, whee! like you could, if you would have videotaped it, you literally could have went, do a flip! Like, I went straight into the fucking concrete, like, it did not work.
That's so funny.
I've been to like little things where you can ride your bike, like with like bumps and stuff. Yeah,
Like trails.
Trails.
Bike trails, yeah.
Those are fun,
Oh, it was fun.
especially the ones with the bigger hills.
I enjoy riding my bike. I just can't ride no-handed.
Yeah, I can't really ride no-handed either. Like, I can for like a little bit, but then like my adrenaline's like, absolutely not.
I can text and ride my bike with both hands. Text with both hands and ride my bike.
Well, isn't that cool?
Oh no.
That's why I'm a god and you're not.
Complex.
Tom is my friend.
That's your friend. I'm playing with it.
You can. They're fun.
No, yeah. We've had a lot of fun things in our childhood that I feel like a lot of people have shared learning in theirs.
Like Tom.
Like Tom. You guys ever eat Play-Doh?
All the time.
Yeah, I ate Play-Doh a lot when I was younger.
Salty.
It's not good. Fun to play with,
Fun
not
to play with and to eat.
Nope.
There was this like food. It was like a dessert. It wasn't fondant, but like they called it like Play-Doh. And it wasn't actually Play-Doh. I don't remember what it was, but it was Play-Doh like, and it was dessert.
Gross.
Paste? Like almond paste?
No, it wasn't almond. It was more like fondant. And I don't know what it was.
We weren't allowed to play with silly putty in my house until we were like much older, because my sister stuck silly putty to the floor when we were younger and we couldn't get it up.
I can just imagine that like you guys get banned from it when you're like 5, and then in high school she finally is like, all right, I got what you guys wanted.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to have bouncy balls in our house either.
I fed one to a dog. That's why I wasn't allowed to have one.
My mom said that if she ever found a bouncy ball in her house, she would take it and cut it with a knife.
That's how you make those like 1,000 degree knife videos.
Yeah, so we weren't allowed to have bouncy
Steal
balls
your
or
children's
silly
toys.
putty in our house.
Tom!
And we weren't allowed to have
There goes Tom.
we weren't allowed to have Play-Doh anywhere but the kitchen, stuff like that.
Anywhere but the kitchen?
The kitchen was right before.
Yeah, but like promotion of eating Play-Doh right there.
No, because
No,
we would
don't
play
eat
with that at the
Play-Doh.
table. Our kitchen and dining room were connected, so we would just
No, you
Stay in that area.
Play-Doh tastes good.
Warning, do not eat Play-Doh.
please.
It's not good
do
for
not
you.
eat Play-Doh, for the love of God, don't eat Play-Doh.
I really hope our viewers are smart enough not to eat Play-Doh.
I don't know, they're watching us. But yeah, if you guys shared any of these childhood experiences, leave them down in the comments. If you have experiences that you've had in your life, put them down in the comments. We'll probably do a reading your comments at some point
It's
because
going in my car.
they're fun. But yeah,
Oh, also sorry for the little corner being broken. I accidentally stepped on it.
Oh, this?
Yes.
Oh, I don't care.
but yeah, if you guys have any experiences that you'd like to share, leave them down in the comments. We had a good time. We shared a few experiences that we've all experienced being younger, but there's obviously other things in life that other people have experienced that we didn't. So, or we just don't remember. So leave them down in the comments, and hope you guys enjoyed the video.
I enjoyed the food.
The food is good, very good.
Not the video?
Not the podcast. Like, subscribe, leave comments.
And if you want to see him eat the death nut that we were talking about, that will be on my channel soon. Not soon.
At some point.
Some point. Probably next year.
Yeah.
Next year! Oh.
In high school, and your teachers used to say that shit to you. Alright, guys.